This can teach you everything you need to know about light and color. Let me show you how. What this egg can teach you is the relationship between light and how it can improve your art immensely, and you'll leave with a better understanding of the relationship between light and shadow. So as artists, what do we really do? What exactly is it that we paint? A better way to come up with the answer to this question is thinking about what influences our subject. In this case, an egg. Look closely at what I'm doing here. Not so easy to see, right? So let me try something else. As you can see, the egg is influenced by the direction of light, and as painters, we paint the light and shadow forms. The egg looks the way it does because of the relationship between these two forms, not because of its texture or its shape. So learning to see and understanding how they relate to one another is essential for us to getting better at painting. But what is considered light and what is considered shadow? I'm gonna bring someone a lot more qualified to explain this. In fact, he's the reason why I started painting with watercolor and the one who showed me this exercise in the first place.
As I move this light source around, two other things are moving along with it: the light family and the shadow family. The dotted red line there is the distinct separation between the two. The location of that separation is the first decision you have to make.
Pretty simple, right? But the problem is that we can't just paint one side black because it's shadow. There is actually more things that we have to look out for. And by the way, I'll leave a link to his video and channel so you guys can check him out. He is just awesome. Since light is coming from all directions, this means that there is more than just one type of shadow and light. This has some direct effect on the subjects that we paint. I started off by painting a grayish shadow on the egg to give it its form. I consider this to be the most important side of the shadow because this is where most of the magic happens. If you think about what color is a cloud, what color would you guess it is? I mean, let's think about it. What color is a cloud really? When it's cloudy, they can look gray or magenta or a little bit blue. And when there's a sunset, they can look yellow and orange and pink. I mean, what color is a cloud actually? Well, you could say that they are white, and you wouldn't be wrong, but you also wouldn't be right. If we look at the egg and what I'm doing, you can see that the real color of the clouds and this egg is dictated by the objects that surrounds it. More importantly, the light that bounces off those surfaces. This is what it's called reflected light, and it's usually more noticeable on the shadow side, but it definitely can also be in the light side. So what I'm adding right now in the shadow is all the reflected light, specifically all the color that I see from the surfaces that are bouncing back into the egg. One neat thing to know is that everything that is in shadow usually is a lot more saturated than what is in light. That took me a long time to realize, so you're welcome. Now that I have established the form shadow with the reflected light, I will be focusing on the shadow that is most thought of when someone says shadow. But first I'll paint the light side of the egg negatively. This means that I'm not actually going to be painting it. I'm going to be painting everything around it, therefore revealing the light shape. As the light hits the egg is cloned as a shadow form and shaped into what is known as the cast shadow. It is pretty crazy to me that there's more than one shadow. I mean, I always thought that my shadow that was made by the sun was the only shadow that existed. Apparently not. Now I'm gonna speed things up a little bit because I want to get to the next shadow type. Notice that I will go over the form shadow and continue to paint the egg negatively. This last shadow type really will make everything look even better. There actually is more types of shadow, but I don't want to go over all of them because I don't understand them all myself, and that's why I'm leaving a link to Marco Bucci's video because he explains everything so much better. At the end of the day, I am just practicing that exercise and I want to try to teach it so I can understand it a little bit better. So here we go, we're almost done with the retouching of the cast shadow and everything else. And now I'm gonna add what is called ambient occlusion. Oh god, what a name though. I don't understand why it couldn't have been called like darkest shadow, because that's what exactly is. It is this right here that I'm putting on, the part where the object touches the surface of the table, and therefore all the light that surrounds it or that is falling onto it doesn't actually get to this point, therefore making it the darkest part of our subject. I mean, the name does make sense when you're thinking about the ambient light, and it's just the whole thing about the name occlusion. It's just like, what? I don't understand that. But yeah, that's what it is, and that is what I'm adding right now. Actually, no, that's not what I'm adding right now. This is some kind of mistake that I did because I wanted to add more reflected light. But yeah, it just was a bit of a mistake, but it didn't hurt in the end. Not that much, at least. The great thing about this exercise, sorry, I couldn't help myself, but that was a really good dad joke. Anyway, with this exercise, you can really manipulate the light and really understand what is it that we are looking when we're out painting. But when it comes to outdoor painting, there is no one better to learn from than from old masters, and they followed an easy path to learn to master light, which you can follow as well by watching this video. Thanks for watching.